and the former finalist at the Players' Championship event. It's the German giant, Gabriel Clemens. His opponent from Vienna, Austria. He is a former Champions League of Darts champion and the reigning and defending Danish Darts Open champion. It's the gentle Suljovic.
Suljovic, the defending champion here at the Danish Darts Open, returns to the scene of the crime, the venue where he secured his 5th PDC ranking title roughly 12 months ago. Hasn't won a PDC title since lifting the trophy here last summer, but still very It's a man who is on the rise on the professional circuit, Gabriel Gaga Clemens, the world number 56, up to number 37 on the Pro Tour Order of Merits, and a man who's not had too much success in terms of victories on the European Tour, but surely that's only a matter of time given his developments on the Pro Tour of late. Really looking forward to this one, I have to say. Suljovic, the 8th seed here. Clemens coming into this one on the back of a noteworthy 6-3 win over Mervyn King yesterday, and a notable 6-1 defeat of Suljovic's World Cup teammate in qualifying as well, Zoran Lerschbacher, in the first round preceding a 6-5 win over Jelle Klaassen. I don't think Clemens should be written off by any stretch of the imagination, Paul.
Oh no, you cannot write off Gabriel Clemens at all. He is a big hitter, and he's a big man. That's why they call him the German giant. The man who Dan Dawson says throws the best flights in the world.
Sexiest fights in the world. Commented upon to some extent yesterday, a great deal actually by myself. I went on some downward spiral of talking about West Germany in 1988 and then the team that won the World Cup in 1990. Great darts as well as the flights. Just looks like the all-round package, and when they cluster together it just looks beautiful. Not as beautiful though as Mensur's new shirt. I have got to say, I totally agree with you. In the age of the Larry shirt, Mensur Suljovic has come up with a less is more nice looking piece of upholstery on his back. It is a really nice shirt, pays homage to the flag of his country, and it's just a lovely colour. That gunmetally blue, grey, with the emblem on the back that looks like a Rubik's Cube. He's got the gentle written on the left sleeve as well, which you can see there on the cuff of the left sleeve. There's a lot of detail on there. However, the devil is in the detail, because I was speaking to Mensur and his team earlier, and there is one slight concern with this shirt in that the fabric is a little bit heavy. Now, in warm conditions like this, you need something that can soak up a bit of sweat, and their concern is that this heavy fabric could really struggle to deal with conditions like this. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see, well, Mensur has got it zipped down fully as it will go, and he may well just be tugging at that material throughout this match.
Yeah, may well do. I was actually chatting with my shirt designer during the week, and he was talking about shirt thickness. It's a new one on me, but it's very apt for conditions like this. You're absolutely right, Rob, because Suljovic, if he wants to defend this title, has got to feel comfortable before he can play at his potential. And on a day and an evening where we've talked about graphic designers and Gerwin Prince possibly needing one, well, look at the emblem on the back of the Suljovic shirt. It's on the flight and the back of the shirt.
When you say we, can we just clarify it was you that said that? Not
yes.
I was not
gather
party
some
to
support.
that. I don't want to aggravate Gerwin Price.
No, that's
Gerwin, you do what you like, mate.
So we've got two guys with relatively non-Larry shirts, but that's in direct contrast to what the German giant used to wear, which we called the darting moo-moo, because it was so long. It almost went down to his knees. And that was a pretty Larry shirt, but he's gone to something a bit more classic now, which definitely suits the German giant.
First meeting between these two, which comes as something of a surprise to me. I thought they might have encountered each other somewhere along the road.
Yeah, me too. If not, it's steel tip, maybe it's soft tip.
It's been a while, though, since Mensur got involved in the evening session on the final day, I should say, of a Euro Tour event. The last time he did so was at the German Darts Open at the end of April, when he lost 6-5 to Chizzy, but he's had just one win on the Euro Tour since then. That was at the Austrian Darts Open, a third-round defeat by James Wade there, but back-to-back round 2 defeats at Sindelfingen and Zwolle. And that's something he'll be desperate to put right this weekend.
Well, Adrian Lewis just came off stage and started having a chat with us about a few things, and he mentioned how hot it is down on that stage, and don't underestimate the benefit of a haircut at this time of year, nice and regularly, because if you're going to sweat, the last thing you want is it dripping off your hair. You want to be nice and svelte at the top there. And you may think that you're just clutching at straws here, Nico. You don't want to have a haircut like that, do you?
Excellent work from our camera team, picking up on our every word, finding the perfect candidate. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can't go full on Rafa Nadal and stick a head. Well, you could have a headband, although I think there's something in the rules in darts where you can't have headgear unless it's for religious purposes.
Or medical purposes, maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
Double 12 for Clemens.
What kind of head injury would you get at darts? Imagine that. If they allowed physical contact.
Or, well, if a player needed to wear a skull cap, for example, as part of day-to-day life.
Fair enough.
I would have thought that would be, he couldn't really be prevented from taking up a career in darts if that was the case.
Not at all.
I'd like to think.
Darts is for everybody. Clemens is a very tall fella. He's going right to the south of the board, and he hasn't got a problem with that. Yeah, Gabriel Clemens is one of the gentlest, and I don't say that because Mens is there. He's one of the gentlest, most nice people I've ever met on circuit. He's up there with the likes of Steve Beaton and Colin Lloyd for me. He's just so likeable. But if he gets a hold of you on the dartboard, he can destroy you. I remember a game I had with Gabriel last year. It was actually the midsummer in end of May in Milton Keynes. We had a right tear up over 11 legs. I really enjoyed the game. He won 6-5 and he wanted to make the final that day. And that proved to me, close up, that he has got a special game.
Well, it was in June of last year when Suljovic came to Denmark. He beat some fairly accomplished players en route to that title. Darren Webster, Peter Wright, Adrian Lewis in the semi-final, Simon Whitlock in the final itself. That was his 5th PDC title in the space of 2 years, and if you'd said to me at the time he will not win another title in the next 12 months, I would have been somewhat surprised. Are you?
I am, because I think based on the way he played last summer.
21.
It was
Mencia require 160.
evident to a lot of people that he was going to pick up probably 2 or 3 more, but he didn't do that. He did play very well for the rest of the year, and he's back here as a seed. That's a lovely dart from Suljovic. Can he get another?
100.
Oh, he chose not to go for it, which, to be fair, is not a bad plan there, because his darts land very flat, and it's really unfortunate for the German giant, but with those darts landing flat, he's going to have a nice open tops here after this first dart. There's the single. Plenty of room to the right. There she is. There's someone with a Suljovic shirt, and he's thinking, I haven't got that shirt. Where do I get it?
I always just keep faith with the old ones. There's no need to go chasing the game as far as shirts are concerned. I mean, merchandise is merchandise, but there's something nice about seeing. I mean, if somebody turned up now wearing a Priestley shirt from '91, I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it?
I
like the retro.
Totally on board with that.
I like the retro. When I go to football, I see somebody wearing a shirt from the '70s. I think, you know, a lot of kudos to those people.
Yeah, no glory seeking there.
Clearly kept the shirt from that era. Anyway, it was a European Tour event that Suljovic won for his first PDC title. That was the International Darts Open in Riesa in 2016. Then in 2017 he had the Champions League success. He had a first Pro Tour title as well at Players Championship 20, and then in 2018 he had Denmark and also the World Series event in Germany, the German Darts Masters, in front of a crowd of 420,000 or something in Gelsenkirchen.
Yeah, I reckon he's on the same level as Gezi Price when it comes to the haul of titles that he's had. He's got the World Series event that Gezi doesn't have, but he does have a major, and he does have a Euro Tour 2 and a Pro Tour title, so he's got one of each of the bunch. Now, in that final in Riesa, he beat Kim Huybrechts after Huybrechts missed a bucket load of doubles to win the title, and funnily enough, on the Euro Tour all-time list, Mensa's got the same amount of Euro Tours as Kim Huybrechts. They've got 2 each.
Really was a productive and a very lucrative second half of 2018 for Mensah, trousering around about 170,000 in prize money, a finalist at the World Match Play, of course, that epic against Gary Anderson, a semi-finalist at the Grand Prix, a semi-finalist at the Grand Slam, a semi-finalist at the Champions League, a semi-finalist at the German Darts Championship, and a cluster of quarter-finals as well. I mean, I suppose that will be something that comes with a tinge of disappointment, all those semi-finals in all those big events that he wasn't able to go at least one stage further. Biggest payday so far this year, the 60 grand he rates in for his exploits on the Premier League. It was a much better Premier League campaign for him this time around.
Yeah, he acquitted himself excellently. Only just failed to get over the line. He had a really hard run in. There's a ball. There's another ball. And you want him to hit another one because it looks so good.
Bust your score, Gabriel, go on.
Unfortunately, he's got to hit a one to leave double 12. And salt in the wound if Suljovic gets a 39 for 32 here, because they were 2 marvellous darts from Gabriel Clemens.
Well, he saw the funny side, but he may well not see the funny side if Suljovic breaks here with this 71. Looking for the treble 13 to leave double 16. And now he's looking at tops for 3-1.
51.
And Clemens lives to fight another day in his neck.
Hits tops to Suljovic. He said it out loud many times. 2 12s. Doppel Zex.
18.
Too many misses at doubles. And he invites Suljovic in, and he ain't going to say no. Not the best leg they've ever thrown, but Suljovic is in for double 10. And every time that happens, he does wave that hand. He is quite apologetic sometimes, but more often than not, he's ruthless. And Rob, after what you were saying about last summer's amazing world match player, that final with Gary Anderson should never be underestimated. It's one of the best finals that the PDC's ever had.
Certainly the longest.
I remember being on the drive home I was working for a radio station covering that tournament. Had a fabulous time. And I was driving home during the end of the final, tuning in, and I was gripped. I don't remember much about the first couple of hours of the journey because I was so engrossed in that final.
The impressive thing is, it was in that final, he registered his first ton-plus average at the World Match Play. And in a match of 40 legs, to maintain that sort of standard, winning 19 of them against a figure such as Gary Anderson. 104.43 in the end. 14 180s for Mensah. He's not renowned. Okay, he had a lot of legs to work with, but he's not renowned for being a 180 hitter. But that was the most he's ever registered in a single match. Okay, it was an elongated match, but even so, even with that caveat.
He didn't even like Blackpool. He said after his first round match, I don't even like it here. And I love how honest he is sometimes. It's very much in the vein of Vincent van der Voort like that. And then the very next day, I see him on the promenade with black trousers on in the middle of summer, black shoes and a black jacket, licking on ice cream. Brilliant. I wish I had a photo of it to show everybody. It was brilliant. It was typical Mensah.
100.
I remember speaking to Mensah as well just before he was going to Brighton for the Champions League. He'd never been to Brighton before, and he asked me, what's Brighton like? And I said, oh, it's a seaside town. And I think he automatically assumed it was just going to be like Blackpool. Very charming in their respective ways, both Blackpool and Brighton. I'm a big fan of both.
100.
But for Mensah, he just had this association.
See, if you had to choose between the two, to go for the day?
Depends what you're after. For golf, Blackpool.
Oh, unquestionably.
You want a side bit of golfing?
Yeah, you got to live them up there. It's lovely.
Don't get me wrong. I went to Brighton recently. I do like it. It's a great city. It's got a lot to offer. But yeah, they've got their own different appeal.
I tell you what.
If every city was the same, it'd be very
for
boring.
Food, I'd go to Brighton. There's a lovely pub down there called the Cricketer's Arms. There's an amazing Sunday lunch. And I'm not plugging them because they're paying me. I'm genuinely saying that because it's that good. Anyway, back to the darts. And Clemens needs double 16.
95. Mensah, you require 81.
Well, Clemens is involved in every leg that he's played so far. He's not losing legs heavily. The 3 he's lost have been closely fought encounters, and he's been in touch, but he's in grave danger of finding himself 4-1 down here.
66 remain, and Mensah needs the centre button, and he gets it. And angel-like, he puts his arms to the side and waves away leg 5 successfully.
Well, it is just the one break. That's what Clemens needs to remind himself of. But 4-1 does look a very sizable lead, doesn't it, for Mensah Suljovic? You'd rather be in his shoes right now.
Do you think there's a bit of a mental block with Gabriel Clemens in the Euro Tour? He doesn't seem to be able to perform at his best on the Euro Tour stage, because on the Pro Tours, where he's had numerous successful runs, admittedly not with a win yet, he hasn't been able to duplicate that in Germany, in Austria, in Denmark, in Gibraltar, any place like that. And maybe he's the biggest underachiever at the moment on the Euro Tour.
100.
Yep, it's a good argument, and certainly a strong case there, Paul.
It's interesting that you mentioned his qualification, because he beat Jelle Klaassen 6-5 to get here in a good quality match. And we haven't seen Klaassen this year. I'm sure that Jelle will be qualifying for something, either for Prague or for Vienna or one of the German events, or even Gibraltar at the end of the season. Well, it'd be good to see him back.
He'll need to put together some good runs, though, if he wants to challenge for the European Championship, or force his way into the European Championship. But he's capable of doing it if he can find a way there.
Well, like I always say, if you keep knocking on the door and nobody answers, bash the door down. That's exactly what Ian White has done this season on the Euro Tour. He has knocked on that door so many times. He's got a red raw right hand. And we are going to see Ian White next when he plays against Martin Schindler.
Well, huge helping hands here for Clemens. 45 and 41 for Suljovic, but then again, Clemens has only posted 55 of his own there. But yeah, he was left on 16 as Suljovic took out the 5th leg. He was left standing on 6 when Suljovic broke for 3-1, and they could easily have gone either way. Could have found himself 3-2 up instead of being 4-1 down.
106.
54 needed, which he doesn't get. And Suljovic, like you mentioned, has had a poor scoring leg and is giving Gabriel a bit of breathing space, and maybe that's what he needs in this game, just to canter to a leg win and then recoup to mount an assault on this match.
60. Gabriel, you require 32.
Straightforward route to glory here for Gabriel Clemens, right in the middle of that double 16 bed as well. That might just settle him down a little bit. Just needed to give himself a foothold to get back into this match. It's 4-2. Still needs to find the break.
Did you find out from Peter Wright if he brought his Lego with him?
I forgot to ask him. We'll do some digging later.
You guys out there on social media, if you want to pester Snakebite Wright on Twitter about his Lego, please do. Because I believe there's only one of them in the world. And there's a lot of Snakebite fans out there who would probably want to own one. But right now, you can't. I'm sorry. And by saying that, I've probably created a lot of demand. Apologies to Peter and Joe. But I think a good idea would be dart player bobbleheads. See, bobbleheads, they're a big thing in ice hockey and American football and basketball. Imagine the Mensa bobbleheads.
I can't really picture these.
Little figures that stand on a little plinth, and then the head wobbles everywhere.
Right, okay.
They're great things. Whose bobblehead would you want out of all the dart players that you watch?
Dennis Nielsen.
You want a Dennis Nielsen bobblehead? Well, who would I have? I'd have a Dennis Priestley bobblehead. Or Hendo bobblehead. I'd have a Hendo bobblehead. Right, consider that an order. And no one has got that idea on paper by the end of the day for the Dragons Den. Then I'm going to be quiet. So, 127 in game for Suljovic for a 5-2 lead.
This may well make Gabriel Clemens quiet if he's not quiet already. Treble 19 would have left the bullseye, but no need to be too aggressive here for Mensur.
Well, Clemens, I mentioned, had a bit of breathing space on the last one, and he hasn't been able to take advantage of that chance to get his game together. But it's a really good visit. That's the question of Mensur.
Mensur requires 68.
Go on, Mensur, go for tops and double 14. Just to see if you can. He won't do.
Well, it's becoming a bit of a sticky wicket, this one, because now he needs centre console again.
29.
It's getting a bit hot up there, and that shirt may be getting a bit sticky. And the situation will get sticky if this 122 goes, Rob.
Stays there. Finds the treble. Bullseye for Clemens. Oh, it may well get sticky. 1-2-2 check out for Gabriel Clemens. And he just has a little bit of momentum now. He was 4-1 down. He got the break with that 1-2-2 check out. And Mensur once again has something to think about here. Brilliant darts from Clemens.
Yeah, that was a great shot. The picture perfect. 122 out. It's like getting a bag of chips and then dipping the last one in a piece of ketchup and saying, very nice. Suljovic has got to find some comfort, even if he is a little bit uncomfortable in that shirt, which is kind of similar to the shirt he wore at the Worlds, where he lost to Ryan Searle, and then we didn't see it again for the next 6 months. Well, Clemens maybe has found his mojo.
Well, that 1-2 check out has seemingly breathed new life into Gabriel Clemens' campaign here. And for the first time this evening, Mensur just looks a little bit rattled. He is the defending champion. There's a lot of weights of expectation on his shoulders this weekend. Even though he is the number 8 seed, he was not the tournament favourite coming into this one.
I was impressed with Suljovic last week in the World Cup. I think Zoran Lerchbacher backed him up a lot better this year, which was really good for Mensur because he's very proud to be the Austrian captain. Thought he would bring the form he had last week into this. I actually thought he would defend this title, and he still can, but he's going to have to do it the hard way.
Ooh. 87.
Well, it would have been a stylish way, a robust way to finish things off there for Clemens, but no need to be too aggressive. 56 away now with Suljovic on 3.29.
99.
That shirt may well be just feeling that a little bit heavier now, Paul.
Yeah, very much so. Tops for a level game. And that hit there gives us a 4-4 match.
Does seem to be a fair amount of support for Clemens as well. I think the crowd are naturally inclined to favour or side with the underdog.
It's about a 4-hour drive from Germany to get to Copenhagen, is that right?
Well, it depends which part of Germany you're from. I mean, if you're in Hamburg, it takes no time, but if you're in Munich, Paul, I imagine it takes about 9 hours longer.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying how long does it take to get to Inverness in Scotland. Sorry if you live in Newcastle.
Clemens is from Saarvellingen,
which is not far from Saarbrücken, I think. I was told that once, and I believed them.
Well, that's still a sizable journey. It may be easier to fly.
He's probably flown from somewhere like Luxembourg or
80.
possibly Dusseldorf. Well, he won't be flying anywhere if he wins this match. Suljovic has just found a little bit more in this leg, though. It's been a good response from Captain Austria. Averages reflect a steady game, because we do expect more from these players. But sometimes it's about the survival of the fittest, not just about the real quality that they bring all the time.
1 hour 50 flight from Luxembourg to Copenhagen, or a 10.5-hour drive, which of course involves a ferry as well from a port just outside Hamburg.
I drove from Brecon in Scotland back to where I live in East Sussex near Eastbourne a couple of weekends ago, and that was a bit of a schlep.
I bet it was.
156 coming in from Mr. Suljovic. And is he going to go for treble 16 here to try and leave double 14? Or he's going to go back upstairs? And he does so successfully.
140.
Well, there was a chance here for Clemens to at least apply some pressure, as we saw, well, several times this evening. In particular, Kirk Shepherd's match with Rob Cross, just applying that pressure when seemingly all was lost. Paid dividends for Kirk Shepherd, but it doesn't pay dividends for Clemens, because Suljovic finds double 8 anyway, and he stops the rots. 3 games, 3 legs without reply for Gabriel Clemens, and Suljovic finally gets in a response of his own. 5-4.
Got to say, Rob, the more I look at Mensah's shirt, I'm thinking that may be the best shirt in darts at the minute. It's a big thing for me, as you know. I think dart players have got to go on that stage and look good. They've got to be stylish.
No, it's the Asp for me, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great logo, beautifully interwoven here and there.
Yeah, you've got to have the logo. You've got to have a good fit. And
big fan of the round collar as well, which Chris Dobie has as well.
It's very now. Trying to stay with the kids there, Mr. Malarkey. Yeah, I'm a big fan of a good shirt, and yeah, Suljovic has definitely got a good one there. Yeah, Aspinall was eliminated today, of course.
96.
Yeah, another relatively early exit for the Asp.
Yeah, no great shakes. He played okay today, but just maybe was a little bit rusty after a break. And a big week coming up for Nathan and a lot of players with the qualifier for Prague on Friday. And, of course, Players' Championships the following 2 days, and Prague in 2 weeks, which will be very exciting because the race for the match play concludes. All you darting boffins out there are going to be tapping on your keyboards an awful lot.
Well, no surprise that the averages are nothing to write home about in this one. Both players on 89 plus some loose change. Suljovic with the better checkout return so far.
Well, this number from Suljovic was the best shot he's ever hit against Barneveld in the semi-finals of the Champions League, when Barneveld was on a double after 9 and Suljovic popped the 160 out. It's arguably the best finish I've ever seen live, anyway.
Gabriel requires 68.
Well, this to take us to a decider, and it is a match that has got decider written all over it. Tops for Clemens,
48.
not to be, and Suljovic now returns looking at 115. And he has been good on his finishing so far tonight in the main, Mensur, and if he gets down to a finish, I wouldn't put it past him. 95 away. Doesn't find the treble 19 that would have left the double.
The genuine angst in the face of Mensur Suljovic when he missed that treble 19. 20 left. Very good indeed. It's 5 each. It's been a workmanlike game, and it all comes down to one leg. For 1,000 more pounds, 1,000 more ranking points, and the opportunity, which is the biggest thing, the opportunity of still winning this title.
Yeah, the opportunity to play Dave Chisnell in round 3 tomorrow. It has been in the main substance over style in this encounter. We've had moments here and there. The 1-2-2 check out from Gabriel Clemens.
Thoughts on Dave Chisnell today? I thought he was very good.
60.
Yeah, it was a typical Chizzy early stages of a Euro Tour event. We've seen it time and time again, but it's all about how he does in the closing stages, how he does on the final day. I think Dave Chisnell on his day is very tough to beat in the early rounds of a Euro Tour event. And, you know, he is a seeded player, so he's expected to get through. But
yeah, if my memory serves me right as well, Suljovic and Chisnell had an absolute ripper of a game earlier in the season.
Yeah, in Europe, the 6-5 win for Chizzy in the German Darts Open.
Will Suljovic get another crack at the man in yellow?
That was in the quarterfinals in Saarbrücken as well.
Yeah, that was probably the best quarterfinal session we've ever had.
All 4 going the distance. This one is going the distance, but it's going the way of Mensur Suljovic, because he's down to 81 after 9 darts. That is exactly what he needed to do on his throw. And Clemens, well, a ton there does not really do him any favours whatsoever. Even a ton 80 would have got him down to 203. And this is Suljovic's leg and match to lose now, you would feel.
Do you think that guy in the front row was a Mensur Suljovic fan by any chance?
Could well have been. He's been fairly animated all evening. Went straight for the bullseye. You're not totally sure about that, are you? Or
not really.
Misgivings here and there.
What's the point in going for the 19? Oh, he's missed a big number. That miss at the bullseye, the 25, has really frazzled him there. But now you know what he's going to do, because Clemens is going to come and hit a 180 or a 140. And now Mensur Suljovic needs the insurance policy, which is double 14. Or is he's going to go for 14? I'm amazed. Double 16 for the match then.
Suljovic to set up a meeting with Dave Chisnell in round 3 tomorrow. Far from convincing, you'd have to say, for the defending champion, but a win is a win, and it is a victory over a very dangerous candidate in this stage of the tournament as well. Clemens had his moments. The 1-2-2 checkout caught the eye. A really good fight back from 4-1 down, but perhaps he just left himself with that bit much to do. And the worst stages in the midpoint of that encounter, where perhaps it could have swung the other way. 2 legs in particular, legs 4 and 5, snatched by Suljovic when Clemens was in the frame. Clemens will reflect on perhaps there a big missed opportunity, but the defending champion is safely through
Ladies
to
and
the
gentlemen,
final
put
day
hands
here
together for Gabriel Clemens.
On the way next, we've got the 2-time back-to-back winner on the European Tour, Ian White, the number 1 seed, takes on
And through
Germany's
to
number
the
2,
third
Martin
round
Schindler.
is your reigning Danish Darts Open champion, Mensur Suljovic. Ja. Mensur, es war nicht das ganz große Tennis, was ihr beiden gezeigt habt, aber ein riesen Kampf zwischen euch beiden.
Es war absolut super Spiel von beiden, muss man ehrlich sagen. Wir kennen uns seit Jahren und der Gaga ist Top-Player. Ich bin auch Top-Player und das hat auf höchstem Niveau. Die Doppels sind nicht kommen richtig, aber alles gut.
Mensur says, you know, he knows Gabriel for a very long time, and he says it was a great game, an entertaining game. The doubles we were lacking on the doubles from time to time, but apart from that, Gabriel is a fantastic player. I am a top player. Mensur, sag uns, du bist ja der amtierende Champion. Ist es für dich jetzt was Schönes, hierher zurückzukommen, oder erhöht es vielleicht auch so ein bisschen den Druck, dass du derjenige bist, der die Zielscheibe auf dem Rücken hat?
Auf jeden Fall ist der Druck, die Publikum, Crowd ist brillant. Ich gebe mein Bestes, aber es ist wirklich was Besonderes.
I asked him if it's something special for him to come back to the place where he's won last year, and he says it's fantastic to play in front of this audience again. It's absolutely brilliant. He's trying his hardest, and we wish him the best of luck in the third round. Menzo Suljovic.